So we're at this Schrodinger's cat type situation where I'm at this point in time, the audio is both working and not working. And we won't know until we open the box at the end of this all. I mean, look, you can hear me, so at least we're getting that quality.
Yeah, there's
that.
My Ecamm is at least recording you in some capacity that sounds pretty good. So we'll go with that.
I mean, why not? It sounded like my voice sounded like I should have actually just saved it so you could hear it. It sounded like when you hear somebody trying to communicate through not just space but also time. It's like the digital echoes of. It's like, oh.
Right.
Oh.
It's kind of like that. I don't know if they still do it, but for a while there, you know how you can do the Apollo 8 launch simulation at Kennedy Space Center where you're in like a mission control room or whatever. And at one point they had a thing where the camera was going through there and then you hear these sort of echoes of transmissions and stuff. And they're like, back here, blah, blah, blah. And then you can hear like, it's all kind of ghostly and stuff like that.
Yeah, that would be like, it was like that, but not so ghostly, just like alien-like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Alien ghosts. Very cool.
Alien ghosts.
Those are the best kind of ghosts.
I imagine they have. Like, okay, let's just. If ghosts are real, like if that's a thing, if like being a spirit is a possibility in this universe, right? And we also know that we are not. I mean, we don't know, but we know. We know. We don't know, but we know. Where there's other intelligent life.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I think it's not like a big leap then to say that there are alien ghosts.
Yeah, that if humans can be ghosts, aliens can be ghosts. Yeah.
Right, unless you're one of those people who's like, oh no, the only humans have the spirit that could do the blah, blah, blah. It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah, the spiritual mechanics of this.
As if God is that selfish. Come on.
Right,
anyway,
right.
Like,
and he didn't make the
we're
aliens
so special,
too?
he just made us.
Right,
yeah right.
That's a bit of a narcissistic
they're all just
kind of viewpoint.
Naturally occurring. We are divinely inspired. Therefore, we can only be ghosts.
Our planet
that's really
cheated.
stretching.
We didn't get intelligence through the usual way.
I know. I do feel like I don't want to go on a theological path. Not
Journey.
too far, but we will just a little bit. But I do think that it's a little insulting to God to say, it's like yes, the entire universe, all these wonderful things, these amazing things that happen, right? That we can't even comprehend at this point, right? And we never will comprehend everything. So like out of all of that stuff that they created, he created, she created, whatever your preference is, we're the most important thing. Yeah.
And there's only us on the one planet.
I mean, like, really?
Why? Then why aren't we in like the center of at least our own galaxy? We're like we're in the boonies. We're in the boonies.
And why isn't our galaxy in the center of the universe?
Hey, well, hey.
And why? Well, anyway. I do wonder about these things, and for example, yesterday I was sitting on the couch, and Luna, my Labrador, was laying next to me, and she was, I assume she's dreaming, because why else do dogs like whimper and make sounds and act like they're running a little bit, like they do the paw, like the little paw action. So, there's that part. I forget what the mechanism is in the brain, but your brain, when you're entering that dream state, your brain actually does paralyze.
Yeah, there's some sort of a chemical that gets released.
And so that prevents you basically from getting up and living out your dream.
Right. But it's also the reason that a lot of times in your dream, you can't do things.
Move,
you you can't run fast enough, or you can't oh my God, the bad guys are coming and I'm trying to get my gun up. And it's like, can't get anything to happen. I'm sure that's not Freudian in any way. And
you always wonder why you wake up right after that. It's because you were already waking up. Like you actually were, you're on the verge. And okay. So, but they must not completely lock down though, because they will do I see little paws. It's the cutest little thing. They're running. Well, Luna must have been in the Olympics. I think, okay, let's go down another aside. We're going to just put the pin right here. We'll come back, little breadcrumbs. A friend of mine, I think I may have said this before, but it's worth saying again. A friend of mine from law school, his name's Dave. That's all I'm going to share. He said to me one time, just as if it was a normal thing. We were talking about dreams, and he said, he just made him, in passing, mentioned that he often dreams he's a dog.
I don't think I've ever dreamed I was another species.
I don't think I've ever dreamed it was another person.
I'm not positive on that one. I'm 90% sure I've never been another person, but I'm darn sure I have never been another animal.
Yeah, and so, but he was like, oh yeah, yeah. I'm like, so what do you do? He's like, I do dog things. I'm like, what are you talking about? He didn't even have a dog. He had a cat. How do you even know? He's like, and that makes me wonder, where did he, maybe there's this parallel world that we travel to, where we become this thing. I don't think it's true, but
and is he purposefully doing dog things? Is he I am a dog. Let's see, what do dogs do? I need to pee on things. I need to scratch myself. I
figure they would just take a nap, because that's mostly with the dog.
That's what I would do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't ask a lot of questions. I think I was just flabbergasted by the whole concept. So, and I'm sure there was alcohol involved in the conversation. So I was like, okay. So anyway, he has that dream, and I realize in talking to other people throughout my life that there are a variety of dream styles that seem normal to people and abnormal to other people. And I remember having a conversation with Alex, my son, who this is later in life, in his teenage years, again, kind of in a passing conversation, reveals that he almost always has control in his dreams.
Yeah.
It's always a lucid dream.
Lucid, yeah. Interesting.
And I'm like, what? He's like, oh yeah. And he was almost like, he's like, that's not normal. No, it's not normal.
Yeah, there's people that try to teach classes on how to train yourself to do that.
It just happens naturally, which is weird. Yeah. I mean,
interesting.
And so I was a little jealous. I was like, so you can just fly if you want to? Yeah. You gotta be kidding me.
I wonder if it's just a level of self-confidence he has that is well, of course I can.
I don't know. I don't know.
Because that seems like a very self-confident thing. It's I always lose
crazy.
Dream.
Well, if I'm in my dream and I actually think about flying, then yes, I can fly. Right? I never I have fallen to my deaths many times. Oh,
I don't know that I never realize it, but it's that's usually
I see what you're saying.
The issue.
That's when you wake up. I mean, it's a very brief period where I'm like, wait, am I dreaming? Oh, I'm awake.
Yeah, it's that
sort of thing. Yeah. I've had situations where I wake up and I'm like, oh God, thank God.
Yes. Yeah. I've had a few of those. Yeah.
But you still wonder, that didn't really happen, right? I didn't really do that thing, right?
I still feel kind of
they're still alive, right?
Ashamed.
I didn't actually hide the body, did I?
Check under the bed. No, okay.
Yeah. But based on my dreams, I'd be a fantastic criminal. That's all I'm going to say.
Is that right?
Yeah, the best. The mafia would love me.
I think.
I call Jason.
When I think of you, I think of your amazing, finely tuned criminal mind.
So we talk about maybe this is what's wrong with me, Marcus, and I will come back to that pin, by the way.
Yes.
We talk about like, are we the same person in our dreams? And I have always assumed that yes, I am. But at the same time, then I start to think about it. There's sometimes in my dreams, I'm not. That's not a great person. And then there's sometimes it's that's a great person. And in my head, I'm like, oh, that's the same person. But then when you start to think about it, you're like, no, it's not. It can't possibly.
It can't be, right?
No.
And that's when I contradict when those guys.
I didn't really do that, did I? No, of course not. But haven't you ever had bad news? Like something terrible happens, the passing of somebody, close or relatively close to you, or the loss of something, maybe something like you actually like lost, could be your wallet, could be your wedding ring, could be something like things that are like, you really wish didn't happen. Right. Mm-hmm. And you wake up the next day and there's that part of you, that moment where you think, oh, that really happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you're hoping that was a dream, but it's not. It's kind of like the inverse of that.
Right.
Anyway, dog's laying next to me.
Yes.
And she was like in the Olympics because she's full on, not to like full on running. I mean, here she's like going, her back legs and her front legs are like in action at this point, like more than just little bits, like to the point where she's like kind of nudging me, right? But most importantly, maybe impressively, her mouth, her cheeks. Did you know that dogs have cheeks? Her cheeks were ballooning, like like she was breathing heavy, but her mouth's closed. She's not panting. She doesn't need to actually pant because she's not actually running.
Right. Yeah.
But her body, her lungs think they're like she's. I've never seen this in my life. This like she could blow bubbles. The people who can hold a note, who do or they can do this on an instrument, or they can do it. I think actually only with an instrument that you can do it, but you can hold a note basically indefinitely through
they call it circular breathing.
Circular breathing. That's it. Yeah.
And I need to be convinced that that's a real thing.
It is a real thing. You can actually be taught to do it, and I can teach you. I'm not great at it, but if you use a straw and a cup of water, you can actually train yourself to do it. Okay. And the trick is you have to maintain enough air in your mouth to okay, so right now I'm going to put a whole bunch of air in my mouth, right? And I can blow, but there's a way to do it so that you're pushing the air out of your mouth at the same time you're breathing in through your nose,
which is too contradictory. Emotions.
No, but you can because you're cutting off the airflow in your mouth, and you're actually using the air that you have as a reservoir in your mouth to compress to make the sound while you do an inhale through your nose, and that's
so sort of like breathing. Bagpipes.
It is exactly like bagpipes. Yes, yeah, except with your mouth. It's like bag mouth. So anyway. She's doing this thing.
Jason Bagmouth Knapp.
It could be worse. And she and I'm trying to wait. I'm like, it's okay. You don't have to run so hard. It's all right. She's like, just not waking up. She was out. She was out. So later, I was talking to Michelle about this, and I said, I wonder what it's like for them when they wake up. Like, for us. Like, we can conceive of dreaming. We understand conceptually what a dream is. We know when it's like children get really spooked, right, because of their dreams, because there's an element of realness to it,
right?
And it's hard, I think, for them to intellectualize the the separation. But it happens at an early age where you can begin to grasp like, oh, that was just a dream. It wasn't actually the reality situation, right? You may not be able to fall back to sleep, but you may not. Then you enter Freddy Krueger and you don't want to go to sleep, and that's the whole thing. Or Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Get the sand.
So with the I love it when that scene when his wife, I guess, like walks into the room and she sees she's like, are you? Oh no, maybe it was when the police come in and they were like, is anyone here? Or he's like, no, I live by myself. And they see like there's like the shackles on the bed and the sand. And like, oh, okay, really. Interesting.
You into some interesting stuff.
Yeah, certainly by living by yourself. Yeah, sure you are. I said to Michelle, I was like, I wonder what they think when they're waking up, like, or when they wake. Did they realize that they were dreaming? How can they realize they were dreaming? How can they conceive of that?
Yeah.
Like, and so does that mean that they're living this other life? Like, in fact, dogs, I think, they sleep more than they're awake, most of them. Mm-hmm. At least not non-working dogs, right? And so I'm thinking to myself,
unemployed dogs.
If they're lucky. If they're lucky. I'm going to put my do not disturb on. I just can't imagine if she was just running and then she opens her eyes and she's here. There must be some element of normalcy to that for her, right? Like,
right. Surely by now. I mean, it's been happening a lot for years.
So where does she think she goes?
Right. Yeah.
Or maybe she doesn't think about it.
I don't know. Phases through time and space.
It's just like this other life. It's like as if she would walk just as if she would walk through a door to enter the house. When she's falling asleep, is she walking through a door to this other life, this other existence?
She may have a whole other family over there.
Or is it like Severance, where like they like once they turn off.
I haven't started watching that.
Oh.
I hear it's good.
Buddy, you gotta Yeah. You can just please persist through the first 2 episodes.
Oh.
It's one of those shows. Yeah, unfortunately, it's one of those shows where you start watching it and you're like, what am I doing? And then you get to the second episode and you think, no, seriously, like, why am I watching this? I don't even like these people.
I'm glad you told me that, because
you got to get through to the 3rd episode and then you start getting, and it's like,
the ball gets rolling. All right, cool.
And when it gets rolling, you don't want it to stop rolling. So
cool. Okay.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Very bingeable. Very, very bingeable.
Nice.
There's only 9 episodes. As Henry put it, who makes 9 episodes? Who ends a season on 9 episodes?
Yeah. Like you feel like that they should have gone the extra and get to 10.
Yeah.
Some of them have just been like 8.
It's like the inverse of Game of Thrones, where they just like decided they needed to wrap it up.
Right.
In 2 episodes.
And they decided to just stop writing the show whatsoever and started doing random things, throwing darts and stuff. You go, I don't know. Let's say Arya kills the Night King. I don't know why. Just because. Because we've set that up.
Spoiler alert.
No, we didn't. But
if you haven't watched Game of Thrones by now,
I'm going to spoil it for you right now.
If you
Last
haven't
2
watched
seasons, don't watch them. There you go.
If you haven't watched Game of Thrones by now, you probably aren't going to watch Game of Thrones, right?
And I highly recommend you don't. Because as good as the first 4 or 5 seasons were, the lackluster and complete sack of crap that the last couple of seasons were makes the entire thing kind of crap. And
it's like me, like I haven't watched the Ken Burns baseball documentary. I'm almost certain I never will probably ever watch that. Like, I'd like to think that I would, but I'm not going to.
But you're not worried about spoilers like Babe Ruth dies and things like that.
What?
Yeah, sorry. I thought you said you were going to watch it.
So I don't know. Like, it bothers me to I don't know why it bothers me, but it really bothers me to not now know what they're experiencing.
Yeah, like, and what they think's going on. Yeah.
Or whether they even think. I mean, they probably don't. They're not thinking. They're just
dogs
reacting.
are pretty good at just sort of accepting reality.
But they also know they're predictive, so they have anticipation, right?
Sure.
They know,
yeah.
Oh, this happens and this happens. Like Luna has also trained me to give her a treat when she to come inside. Like if she this is crazy. She asks to go outside to use the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
I let her outside, right? She then comes and sits by the screen door of the lanai. She sits there, just waiting. And at some point I notice that she's there. Oh, okay, you must want to come in. I go over to the door. She sits there. I open the door, and she walks away, looking back at me. Huh. Okay. Well, it didn't take me too many tries to learn that I'm supposed to bring her a treat when she's sitting there looking nice and cute. To come inside, I am supposed to bring the treat with me, because when I bring a treat with me, she rewards me with her presence.
Like coming inside.
Yes. I'm very trainable, apparently. So they do think a little bit. Like
yeah. And they do know things from your perspective, like that. I think we talked about it before. That test or whatever, that where they put two toys out after they've learned which toy is which, and actually I don't think that even is part of it. And then the human guy is standing on the other side. There's the dog on one side of the room, the human's on the other side of the room, and two toys are in the middle of the room, kind of spaced out. And then the guy says, "Bring me the toy," and the dog brings each toy about 50% of the time. When they choose one, right? But then if you put a wall, like a little blinder between the toy and the human, the dog will get the one that they know that the human can see, like 95% of the time.
Because they know the context is that.
Right. It's not just that they can see it. It's that they know that the human has to be referring to the one that he can see. And so they get the one that the human can see. I think it's really cool.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, like dogs, I think, and the way they respond to pointing, like most dogs, if you point at
they
something,
look at what you're pointing at, not at your finger.
Like, right. Like, wow.
That's kind of
cool,
interesting.
Actually, right.
There's a certain amount of cognitive ability or sophistication or something that has to be present in order for them to get that kind of thing. Because really, when you really think about it, I mean, we kind of take it for granted, obviously, because we're humans. Right. But when you think about it, you're like, wow, that does take a leap we see a being jutting out a finger. What the heck are you doing, dude?
Oh, that means that's a pointer, and that means they're pointing to something,
so
and I should follow the direction of where they're pointing. Yeah, it's not like we've ever shot a laser beam out of our finger, and they're anticipating like
where the dot's going to be,
or something. Right? I see. See, my laser burned. Yours was clearly for presentations,
right? You got.
Told you I'm not
a good lasers.
I told you the dream Jason not so great all the time. Oh yes, how's your laser finger work? Well,
mine makes holes in things.
Why not? Because if you're gonna have a laser finger, you might as well put a hole in something.
That's true. That is very true. I mean, it's a lot more useful if you can burn things up with it.
I know I just saw you recently, but I feel like it feels like forever since we've actually had a conversation.
Well, yeah, because when we were in the restaurant, the freaking fifth horseman of the apocalypse was over there with his, 800 dBi or dB friggin' sound system, and playing like some pretty innocuous stuff. I mean, he wasn't like throwing down to Megadeth or anything like that. He was playing some
it was nice
songs that I would have enjoyed had they been about 25% as loud.
It was real loud.
It was very, very loud in a very small place.
It was real loud.
And they sat us like up his amplifier.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, wait, let the people that want to come to see the guy sit here, and we'll sit over there, wherever that is. We'll sit outside. Hell, I don't care. Just I'm sitting with people that I would like to talk to.
There was nowhere to sit in that restaurant where you wouldn't be blown out by the.
That's true.
I mean, maybe around the corner in the bar or something. It was a tiny place and speakers to fill an auditorium. Yeah,
you got to read the room. I mean, we've got some folks that listen that do live music, and I'm sure they know that like when you check the room out, you got to adjust your settings. It was like this guy figured out all of his settings, like playing in a really big sort of open air like bar with a stage and could probably have 400 people in there. And then he kept those settings and he uses them everywhere he goes.
But then the other, like the proprietor or whoever the manager would have been there that night, like they also found it acceptable.
Yeah.
Because you would have thought they would say, no, please, you need to turn it down. It's almost like they were using the music to draw people in.
Right, from outside.
Far away.
This is
it's the guy standing at the temple with the horn. Like,
and we saw at least one table was like, we can't handle this, and they left.
It's true. Why wasn't that us?
That should have been a clue right there.
I know. I should have bailed. I should have made the decision to bail because you weren't there yet, and I am sitting there like, this is going to be miserable. Marcus has to see this.
It's like, this tastes awful. Here, try it. No, you just said
we hadn't ordered anything. You know, we just sat there. So I still could have gotten out, but then that would have required coming up with another plan. And you know how we are about these things. We were like,
and
we'd rather just lose our hearing
for this place.
But we didn't really, apparently, because when I show up and I talk to, you know how much, you know how I sweated over those reservations. So like, I reached out, I haven't heard back yet. I don't know if it's a thing. They make it seem like it's like, you better have reservations. And then I get there and I say to him, he can't even hear me.
Right. Yeah.
And he didn't look at a list. He looked around. He saw an open table. Let me clean that up. Like, okay. It's a big charade.
Well, probably all the other people that had reservations came in and had Gabriel's horn blow their face off, and then they were like, okay, we're out of here. And then that's why it looked like you didn't need reservations.
Because you didn't.
Right. Had freaking Black Sabbath not been playing in there, then I felt I know, but here, okay, and so this is where my neurosis really becomes clear, if it wasn't already. As we leave, he has his guitar box open for his case open for donations or what. I don't know. What do you call them? Tips? I don't know. I guess.
And I felt like, oh my God, like I'm going to walk past him now. Every person is in this table, because I've seen other people put money in. Like, they're all going to judge me for I've sat here for an hour or so listening, and I'm not going to put any money in this thing. What kind of person am I? Right. And almost to the point where I was almost compelled to put money in just because I didn't want to be judged by these people I didn't know.
Right. Yeah.
Something's so terribly wrong with me. Like I would tip the person. Okay. I don't know if is there anything else you want to talk about about this restaurant experience? I know I sent you a pin mid dining.
Yes, we do have that to talk about. We certainly have. Let me find it here. It was about the
I
head-on
remember what it
slash
is.
tail-on shrimps.
It's a tail. It's a shell. I got this dish. I don't care what it is. It could be a salad. It could be a stir fry. It could be, some kind of whatever it is, where you have de-shelled the shrimp, except for the tail.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
What? What benefit? I don't. Are you trying to prove that yes, this did once have a shell?
Yeah, that's a bit weird.
I don't.
If you feel that there's maybe a question about that,
I don't
think
understand.
That's a problem you need to address separately.
Because now you saw, here I am, cutting each little tail off.
Yeah.
And now having to plop it onto something. I didn't even have a proper plate. Why?
Why am I doing work here?
Bring it to me ready to eat. Don't even get me started about the peel yourself. What do they call it?
Peel and eat.
Peel and eat. That's just.
Yeah.
They should call it. We went halfway shrimp.
Right. Yeah.
Really? You say they make it
it's
sound
like those places where you cook your own
thing.
steak. It's like, what? No. That's not a restaurant.
Sterno. I'm not camping. What are you doing?
This is a grocery store with a grill in it. That's not what I wanted.
Right.
I wanted
it would
a
make
restaurant.
sense at Wegmans. If you're at Wegmans and they have this setup, that would make sense. But not.
Right.
So I don't. Yeah. So that was just a thing. I don't understand when you bring me a dish with. I should have just. I don't want to be that guy, but I should have said make sure the tails are off, please.
Yeah. Can you do the whole job?
The whole job.
Yeah.
I honestly, maybe there's somebody out there who's listening who can help us.
You put it on a plate. That'd be nice.
Understand why they do that. I don't.
Yeah, I don't get it. Well, it's like those fish sometimes that they bring it to you and it has the head on it. I don't.
Oh, people love that, and then they'll ask you. In some places they'll ask you well, this happened at the Italian restaurant in San Francisco last time I was out there. And it was it wasn't a bronzini, but it's like a bronzini type of thing. And they want to know they will debone it for you, or you can do it yourself.
What?
And yes, I kid you not, because and I'm thinking, why wouldn't you just do it back there?
Right.
Because it's a whole presentation thing. I realized it's a whole thing, and they like doing the thing and the whole thing and the thing, and the guy I was with, he happens to be a neurosurgeon, so he of course loves doing his own.
Oh God, really?
And he's like, "Oh, Jason, I will show you. I will show you." It's Italian. He's like, fresh off the boat Italian, like Roman, and he's like, "I will show you." Okay. And he's done this thing, and he's holding his knife like a scalpel, and he's doing the thing, and you do this, and you have this, and you do this, and I start into it, I'm doing it, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, what am I doing? Why? Why this? You know what? Because now I have to feel like a 5-year-old and have someone else cut my food for me. Can you here? You do this for me, please. I am a grown man, unable to cut my own food, please.
Yeah.
Take this. I don't.
It's like you come in and it's like, I'll have the grouper, and they hand you a fishing pole.
That's like ultimate Florida style restaurant.
We let you do it yourself, from the beginning.
But there'd be these tables. There'd be these tables set up, with white linen cloth tablecloths over, and chairs and a little candlelight and everything, right? But right on the side of the road, just off the interstate, actually one of the exits. You just pull off the side of the road by an exit, and there happens to be a little runoff area that has formed a pond, and they just hand you a fishing rod, and you go over there and you fish, and then you go and you eat your dinner. You cook it right there. That would be so Florida. That would be.
You have to have a fishing rod sommelier come out and you choose the right rod for the kind of fish you want to eat.
I have seen people. I've mentioned this before. It's worth mentioning again. I have seen people fishing in places here.
Oh yeah.
I am certain they didn't have water 2 weeks ago in that spot. Like,
right.
How is it possible? You're on the. This is the interest. It's the turnpike.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you just pull off on the side of a turnpike and start fishing? Like, how hungry do you have to be to decide? I know
all the places in Florida to fish in a place like that. I mean, there's lots of fishing around here. It's practically.
It's like a moth to a flame. It's like a moth to a flame, though. If you have a fishing rod in your car, and you're from Florida, and you see a pond of any sort,
if somebody leaves their coffee unattended for too long, you're
it's like Joey in the fork. You know, Joey, remember when the pie or whatever it was had fallen on the ground in the hallway, and Joey just happened to come home at the same time, and he's like, he pulls the fork out of his
fork.
What are we having? It's like, it's like that, but with fishing. Like, I kid you not. I'm gonna start taking. Maybe we should make like a coffee table book dedicated to these sorts of things.
Unlikely fishing would be what it's called.
Meditations on unlikely fishing.
Well, you know that some of the places, some of those areas can have fish in them because what happens is, like,
I know what you're gonna say.
The birds.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the birds will eat the fish, or they'll tear up the fish, and fish eggs from inside the fish will fall into these little areas, and suddenly there's fish in them. But yeah, that's
Yeah, that's It happens.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's
not in the storm sewer or whatever.
Apparently.
I mean, I guess they wouldn't be fishing there if they hadn't had at least some success, right? Or somebody had. Because it must look like a place that doesn't have fish in it to them as well.
Marcus, somebody has to be the first.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But that's a lot of firsting.
It's a lot of Florida.
Well, that I do lose sight sometimes of the fact that strange behavior can be explained by the one-word explanation, Florida. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, there is that.
I mean, I like it. I like the weather. I love Disney. Mm-hmm. I like most of the time. I like the weather. I love Disney.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's very. Did I
mention how much I love Disney?
Do you know, is this...
That's about it.
Strong...
I like that I can...
Weather, Disney.
Most of the weather, most of the time.
Most of the weather, all of the Disney. Well, 99% of the Disney.
There's no state income. There's no state income tax. That's nice.
That's true.
Right.
Of course, property taxes are crazy.
Property taxes are crazy, and the tolls are crazy. And every time we dine or do anything in Disney, we're paying crazy taxes.
That's true.
So there's that.
You're paying tax. It's kind of weird. You're taxed on the amount of tax that you're paying.
Yeah.
It's a meta tax.
But otherwise, Florida, you just want to shake it. Like, what is wrong with you, Florida?
Yeah.
I just like
that's how intense your feeling is on that. Cause the camera to shake. Yeah. Florida can be perplexing.
God. Anyway, okay. So I mentioned the guitar case thing.
Yes. The tipping of the troubadour.
We got to talk about Tiffany.
Yes, that was indeed that was your Audible pin. I assume that you dictated it to Madam S.
I don't remember the episode number when I talked about hairstylist barber debacle. And
Sous
it was
Salonist,
pre-Christmas,
I believe, is the title of it.
the tipping situation with Carol.
Yes, like you tip the guy, and then but how do you tip the assistant?
But I ended up giving her like $20, and but it was like in a little envelope, and I was like, she's never gonna know it's me. Like I don't even get the right. There was a whole thing.
Right.
So then the next time I saw her, I'm like, okay, I'm going to tip like properly and make sure she gets it, sort of thing. So I did that, but it was awkward. Like I didn't know. It's like
so this
in that moment, like
situation is still there. It's you got two people working on you.
It's two people. Okay, but something changes at some point. I don't remember whether it was January, February. I think it was January. This woman comes up to me. Lovely person, seemed very nice. Mm-hmm. Knew what she was doing. She comes up to me and she says, I'm going to go ahead and take you back and get your hair washed and stuff. And while insert name here, like, it finishes up. Well, insert name here was not Sean. It was not my person.
Right. Okay.
So I had to say, I'm sorry, I'm not for you. Like, I'm not your person. I'm here to see Sean. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then she went over to this other person, and then she took them. And then Tiffany arrives. Mm. Again, seems fine, except she's a little meek. Seems to be, like, unsure of herself. Like,
right.
Jason? And I'm like, yeah. So she brings me back. I sit there. I see Sean. Hey, Sean. All this stuff, right? Okay. Tiffany's going to take you over and get you. I was like, oh, no. All that I invested in Carol, and now I've got Tiffany. Oh,
man. A lot of turnover in the sous salonist position.
Well, I think they're in. I think she's in training or something. Like she's. I think like Tiffany's. Like I think that's where they start. They start like because I did dig a little to get some information. Like basically, I think they start them there to get them like time in the salon. It's kind of like a indentured servitude, probably. Of some sort.
Apprenticeship kind of thing.
Right, but my goodness, Marcus. I just wish she had just left me alone. Like it felt clumsy. It felt like think of the worst, most awkward, like two people like embracing scene in comedy. Sometimes there's like people are like, they don't know how to approach each other. Like, right. Or they're like, or if you're dancing for the first time or something and like they're stepping all over. That's how she was, but by herself.
Ooh. Now, what kind of services was she?
This is the hair wash.
She's doing the wash.
This shampoo, and then they do the hot towel thing.
Yeah.
And they do like they'll offer to do like either like a, I don't know, like a hand massage thing or something. Which I'm always like a little like I don't know what to say.
Right.
If I say no, I feel like I'm saying no, not you. Because I did let that but not you. So I'm not going to say no.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, it's not going to be good. So, yeah. And I'll explain to you how it's not good. Okay. The hair washing, because it's the same problem. She does not understand the role she's supposed to play in the situation. Like, I have to. It's like the tail. It's like the tail on the shrimp, Marcus. Like,
gotcha.
Give me the shrimp without the tail, please. Don't make me peel that off myself. If you're going to give me this experience that's supposed to be relaxing, hot towels, you're washing my head, blah blah blah, all these things. It's lovely, right? Don't make me hold my head up,
right?
Wondering like. Is this done? Oh, no. Is this oh, you want, oh, okay. Yeah. Is this good? Oh, now is this done? Like it's like, I'm like in a ball of anxiety here. Like, because, number one, I don't want to not do my part. This is me. And
Right.
number two, I don't want my head to be dropped.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
That's bad.
And she does this little thing where she'll like nudges it up, like, okay, lift. And like, oh, no, I guess I'm lifting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not relaxing. It's more like, can I just do this myself, please? I would just rather do it myself. Okay, so that was January. February comes along. Oh, and I didn't tip her in January. Yeah,
Okay.
I lost sleep over that.
It was you forgot, or you were in the moment. You were saying, "No, I will make a statement."
I'm not tipping this.
Right.
Yeah,
But
I'm
then
not
later
tipping.
on, you were like,
Well, here's the thing. On the way home, I
Guilty.
get this survey. And it reads. I'll read it to you.
"No, please do."
The name of the place. Your feedback matters. Please rate your visit with us, and it gives me a little link. And if I click on the said link, it takes me to a website, and it says, "Please rate the services you received below." And it has the person, like it has Sean's name, and then it has the men's shortcuts, and then I can leave stars. I can hit up to 5 stars, and then I can add a comment.
Okay.
The problem is that I know how these things work.
Right.
What they really care about is the stars, right? They use the stars to indicate whether they should actually look at it more closely. So if I just leave 5 stars, which is what I want to leave for Sean, it doesn't matter what I put in the box. They're not going to read it.
Right. Yeah.
If I do anything less, it's going to ding him, but it's not really him. That's the problem. See, they've attached his name to this. And so now I'm like, oh, I know. Right. So now, and also, and maybe more importantly, I know that link is attached to my file.
Right. Yeah. See, that's the problem.
I know this is not an anonymous survey. It's not even pretending to be anonymous.
Right.
So I know that if I put in there a little comment like, oh, Tiffany needs a little more training. This is why. They're going to go back to her. And they're going to say, Tiffany, this client says you need some more training. What? Yes. What did he say? What did she say? Oh, no, it's he. Oh.
Wait.
That Jason guy? Yeah.
Is it the guy that kept going up and down and saying,
he didn't
is this
tip
done?
me.
Is that done?
Right. Oh, but he was so participatory. So February.
Relaxed the whole time.
I go back in February. And there's Tiffany again.
So what did you end up rating?
I didn't. I don't
You
touch
didn't
it.
do
I
the
don't
thing
touch
at
it.
all.
No,
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah, okay.
No. I just better. Just it didn't exist. Didn't happen.
Okay.
I go back in February. Here she is again.
Yeah. Well,
In March, she's there again.
is she getting better at all?
Actually, I think so. It must have been February was the first time with her, and then March was the second time. No.
No.
And so now,
man.
so today was the third. At least I think it's the third time, and there she is again. And I'm thinking to myself, surely, after 3 months,
Yeah.
I know
You got
that
the hang of this.
I know me. I'm not complaining, right? But
Right.
surely
Someone.
someone has complained. Someone has taken the bullet and complained, right? I don't think
Apparently
so.
not.
It's just as bad. It's just as bad.
Wow.
And I
How
don't.
do
And I
you-
have. And now I'm tipping her. Of course, I'm tipping her now because she's a regular. I can't not.
Yeah, she's a veteran at this point.
I mean, what am I doing? And I want to. And I don't even know who to talk to about this.
Because you've ostensibly been satisfied with her performance up to this point because you never said anything before, and you certainly didn't leave any comments. So
Marcus,
they're going to think,
so-
what did she do this time that she hasn't been doing up to this point? It's like, no, it's all of it, all of it.
Well, I noticed today
From
as
the
I'm laying
beginning.
there in the bowl, I'm looking up at the ceiling, and I noticed in the corner there's a camera.
And
I look at it, and I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I was like. Are you getting all this?
Hello.
You look at my neck muscles tense.
Whenever she's not looking and waving frantically at the camera. Look at this! Right here!
My goodness. It's so bad. Now look, I realize when I say it's bad, I don't have my house being blown up by Russians right now.
It's true.
I'm not living on the street. I get groceries. I have everything's great. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not.
But the idea that you can't complain because someone somewhere has it worse than you is ridiculous.
I'm just saying someone somewhere is sitting somewhere saying,
because the only thing,
Jason,
that we would be allowed to talk about is the worst thing happening on the planet at the current time process of elimination. Because even the blow up house people in Russia, we'd have to say, well, you shouldn't complain because people in the Uyghurs are being systematically hunted and destroyed, and there's stuff going on in Central Africa that is just horrible, even by those standards. And you complain over whatever you need to complain about. It's fine.
It would be a foot-bound woman in the Ukraine, living in a dungeon, who has a lisp and a hair lip,
and is on fire.
Right?
Is currently
and hasn't eaten in 2 months.
Flames.
Like they could complain.
And they're going, yeah, tell me about your hairdresser.
It's like, they're saying like, oh, your house blew up. Whoa, poo you. No, anyway, so it's so bad. There's a part of me that actually doesn't want to go back because of her. There's this ancillary service.
Huh?
Yeah. I know. And all I have to do is say something to end. I mean, I could be a hero to people, probably.
Sort of, but it's hard to tell how they're going to take that,
Dude, it's going to be bad. I know how they're going to take it. It's going to be bad. I'm going to be outed, and they're going to.
Like the next time you walk in there, everybody's gonna be like, "Mm-hmm."
Well, no, maybe they'll be like, but I don't don't know. I think everybody probably knows. Like she dropped.
Well, they know about her. You're saying?
Well, she's clumsy. Yeah, she's clumsy. I've seen her like drop the broom a couple. Like it's like
drop the broom. Wow. Okay. Wow. So what draws her to this lifestyle? I mean, why?
I make it sound like she's like, oh, she dropped the broom. Well, she's got to die.
You know what I mean?
Like it's more of like a, when people look like something like this happens in an environment like that where everything is done in a certain way and it's staged in a certain way because they're trying to give this experience standard.
Sure.
And then somebody drops a broom. And it's like, and her reaction is all like it's like you shouldn't be out doing this on your own yet.
Yeah. You got to find a time, I guess, when she's not there, and then go in and then to what's your guy, Sean? And whenever Sean's on doing his thing, you just be like, so Sean, talk to me about Tiffany.
Here's the thing. I think because
see
then
what
Sean
says. See what he says. If he's like, oh God, I know, then you're like, okay, thank God.
So maybe I need to stalk him. I need to find him on social media and then like send. I don't know. No. I know how it is. I know how it is. This is the extent to which I will go. He is studying because he does this part-time-ish, I think. So he's studying he's like doing financial services stuff, and so he's like getting his license and.
Oh, so he wants to open
financial planning. No, I think he likes the whole financial
financial planning and stuff.
Yeah.
Huh?
Anyway,
okay.
I mean, I could feign interest in that in an attempt to get him out of the salon in a conversation, and then be like, I'm not really interested in your timeshare. I just need to talk about Tiffany.
Right.
I understand how the Roth IRA, the IRA works already.
Yeah.
Sean, it's okay. You don't need to. But Tiffany, on the other hand, I don't understand. Like, explain this one to me.
So I found that some of my mutual funds have underperformed. And speaking of underperformance, Tiffany is not doing terribly well, is she?
But I'm sure he also feels the same. Like, he can't get out. Like, he
can't not
right?
see it.
No, but what's he going to do? Like, he
Right.
doesn't have the power to say, I don't want this person. I want to say to him, I need to say, like, whatever happened to Carol?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, what
there
happened?
you go. I thought we had a rapport going or something. Something I don't really have with Tiffany.
So the only other possible thing I could do is other than actually just saying something, I was thinking I could create a Gmail account under some other name.
Tiffany sucks at gmail.com.
Tiffany.sucks@gmail.com. And actually, it doesn't matter with Gmail. And I would send an email saying, you don't know me, but I mean, you do, but you know, I'm sending this anonymously because I don't want anybody to be insulted or upset. But here's the thing. Tiffany needs a little extra training.
Right. We need to spend some time getting her up to speed. She's
Like
not,
she's
not
a nice
able
person.
To self-guide on this.
She's a nice person. I just don't know how.
Sure.
Like, have they actually? I want to say, like,
And God bless her, she's persistent.
You, the manager, you need to let her do the serve. You need to let her do her thing to you.
Right. Yeah.
Then you will experience it.
I think you'll probably find out that the manager is related to her in some way.
Oh no. Oh man, it's bad. It's so bad. I might have to switch. Like, the person who cuts my hair based on the help person.
So she's attached
The
to
sous
Sean.
salonist. Apparently.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's got to be. And Sean, you were talking about how like Sean is sort of like
He's
the top
great.
tier guy there.
Yeah.
So there's no way he doesn't see this, surely, as
No.
practiced of a hand as he must have.
But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh God. I know. I got to do something. I can't live like this again. I can't go back in May and deal with it. I can't do it.
You're like dreading going to this.
That's the problem now. It's like something you should look forward to. Like, oh no. Tiffany.
When I was living in Little Rock, I had to find a place to get my hair cut, and they had one of those. I didn't know, like, where I was very sort of new expansion of suburb or whatever. It was very Horizons Westy, and the the only place I could find, because I was just like, this is ridiculous, and I haven't found a good place yet, so that's anywhere near me. So I'll try this. What's it called? Supercuts, I think.
Oh no.
I had no idea what it was.
No.
And I was booking online, and I'm like, already, I like the place. It lets me book online. That's a good thing. It's like, oh look, you can add a massage to this.
Oh, Supercuts.
Yeah. And so I did, and it was like, I go in there, and it is like the most
What kind of massage?
insulting, patronizing, like, you're a man, so here's all man things that you must man like. And it was just like, oh my God.
I feel like that about sports cuts. Sport cuts.
Maybe a sports cut.
Like
I can't remember
sport
what
cuts
it was
is definitely
called.
like that. Oh yeah,
It's probably
heavy
sports
on the,
cuts then. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was something cuts, and maybe it started with an S. Yeah. But you go in there, and there's like 15 flat screen televisions showing like ESPN Classic. I'm watching
That's
like
sport cuts, baby.
a football game from 1997, and I'm like, why do I give a rat's ass? And so they finally sit me down, and they do the cut, And then the massage thing, which I thought was going to be like a chair massage because I'm in a chair. Hey.
Oh no!
Actually, was like they whipped out the thing that looks like a belt sander, but it's a vibrator thing, right? And they're like,
what on your like shoulders or something?
On my shoulders. I'm like, thanks. And like the.
You should have sang. You should have sang a song while they were doing that.
Domo arigato, Mr. Robot. But yeah, and it was that thing where you go back in the back to get your hair washed, and you have to do that weird walk of shame where you walk all the way back to your thing with your hair all fried out, and you're in the gown or whatever.
Yes. That's another thing Tiffany doesn't do right.
And it's like everything from beginning to end in there was like just this most, I won't go as far as to say it was humiliating, but it was just like, I feel like I have more dignity than this, that I should be, this is awful. This is absolutely awful.
I feel like I'm so sure that this isn't just me, that I would literally pay for your next haircut to go and see Sean and have the Tiffany experience. Like
you'd be hiding in the bushes and see if it's...
No, I don't even... you just need to tell me, like, after the fact. Like, just report back. Like, with my luck, though, you won't have her.
Right.
Because that's the other thing.
Maybe she's assigned to you. She's not assigned to Sean.
No, but maybe she's assigned to the day. That's the other thing I need to think about. So... Oh, wait a second.
Do you go on the same day? Like Tuesday or something?
Yeah. And the reason I go on Tuesday is I used to go on Thursdays, but I can't go on Thursdays anymore. Huh? No, because that's when the other person who used to cut my hair is there. So I switched days. So I can avoid that person.
Localized to the salon place.
So now I'm on Tuesdays.
Thursday.
But maybe if I switch off of a Tuesday, I can be free of Tiffany. Maybe she's just there on Tuesdays.
Yeah, it could be. So you got what? You could do a Monday.
We need to go in there and be
weekend.
like, and it's like, hi, may I help you? I'm just looking around. Is Tiffany here by any chance? No, yes. Would you like it? Oh, no, I'm good.
That's cool.
That's cool. I'm just making sure she's here.
I'll tell her later.
No, she's all good. Yeah, she's great. Okay, good. So make sure she got that tip. Okay.
Right. Did you get that thing I sent you?
See you later. So I can't do that.
No,
right? Because
that's true.
So what else am I going to do?
So you got to get like me, and you got to get Carlos, and you got to get other people, and then like to fill the other days, right? Like,
right, to try them out to see what.
Yeah,
right.
I'll take Monday. Carlos can go in on Friday.
He's part time, so I got to find out what days he's there too. And since since they don't do the booking online thing, I actually have to talk to somebody, which I won't do.
Right. Yeah. Which I get that. I mean, there's a lot of like your craziness that is hilarious to me, but that is completely and totally reasonable as
to not want to talk to somebody or
well, yeah, like if I can't book online with you, I'm not going to patronize your business. I don't think.
I mean, it's fine. Once I get into a rhythm, it's just that initial call. I don't like that. I don't like the.
Like, what do you say? What do you?
Well, you're saying like,
want?
I don't want to be a bother, like so what does he have available? And how about this day? And at some point, like by the third question, but once we get to the third time that doesn't work for me, now I'm that guy. Like, okay, really?
Yeah.
And
that's the other thing you don't know. Is it ludicrous? Like, how busy are you guys? If I said, do you have any openings this week? Is that like a ludicrous thing that I would assume? It's like, no, we do not. We've been booked for 2 months. Well, I feel like a jerk.
Yeah, I know.
Or an idiot or whatever. But yeah.
I think that I think awkward. I do need, and I'm thinking about this.
I want to see a calendar with days I can't book grayed out.
I need to try another day. Oh, and now that we're not wearing masks, although apparently we might be doing that again soon. So when I went to see Sean in March, he said to me, he's like, "Oh, I like this. I like what you're doing here."
Is it just the first time he hadn't seen you?
He's the first time he hasn't seen me with the mask.
You like that I'm not wearing the mask?
I like. It's like, oh yeah, like
That's
it's.
the only
And then he
thing
said like,
different.
and then he's like, or is it always like that? I was like, yeah, it's always like that. Yeah.
You're seeing me for the
Hello,
first
the rest
time.
of my face is here.
This is my nose too. You dig what I'm doing there?
So it's he's like, yeah, he did not compliment me on the nose. So, but I'm thinking maybe I can go back to Thursdays and I won't be recognized.
Oh. Maybe.
Probably not. I mean, I probably will be.
I don't think necessarily the most discerning distinctive factor of Jason Knapp is his nose and mouth. I think it's more of a behavior thing.
Oh no, I'm a pleasure there.
Oh, I'm sure, but
They love me there.
that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
Yeah.
God. I don't know what to do. I'm going to have to pick a different day and just see what happens. I have to roll the dice.
Roll the dice, yeah.
God, help me. Oh, man.
This is a very Jason conundrum to have.
Or I find out when they open and we just do a little stakeout and see if Tiffany arrives or not.
Yeah.
Do that.
There you go.
The
That's
problem is
exactly what you should do right there.
The data is so bad. The data coverage is so bad there. It's like a black hole. So you can't actually get any work done or anything. You're just dead in the water. You better hope that you have cached a whole bunch of stuff on your phone because this is terrible.
You're doing work from your car because you're staking out your sous salonist.
And then with my luck, I'm like working, and then I realize like someone just went in. I missed it.
I didn't see it. Crap! Who was that? Run it back! You hit the camera going. Zoom in, enhance.